1 in 4 Muslims under 30 say suicide bombings are justifiable acts. And you might expect that if the poll we're talking about was taken in Iraq or somewhere in the Middle East. But these were Muslims living right here in the United States. Arsalan Iftikhar is the National Legal Director for the Council on American-Islamic Relations, and he joins us now. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, Amy. Thank you for having me.
This made a lot of headlines in papers across the U.S. I'm sure you saw them this morning. A lot of people shocked at those numbers. What was your reaction?
Well, first of all, Amy, if you look at the 108-page report, the figure is slightly misleading. If you look at the number of total respondents, only 1% of respondents said that suicide bombings would be often justified. And so, you know, if you took a sample of 1,000 Americans asking if Martians ran the White House, you'd probably get a similar figure. It's disconcerting, obviously, to see that people would feel that way, but I think that a lot of it probably has to do with the exasperation of our own American foreign policy in Iraq right now.
So I'm just curious, how did you get to the 1% versus the 26%?
Well, the 1% is of the total respondent, all 1,050 people, only 1% said that suicide bombings were often justified. The totality of the report actually focused on the fact that American Muslims are as socio-politically, economically integrated in American society as any other minority group, and that, you know, we are living the American dream today.
Okay, and I think the difference is that ours, the 26%, was those under 30. I think that's the distinction that you and I are talking about. Do you think they were higher than what many people would have expected in terms of that age group, or would it be on par?
Well, I think that, again, you know, when we look at our American foreign policy abroad, especially in the Islamic world, you know, there is a great deal of frustration, and I think that, you know, probably one of the motivating factors in answering that question was probably under the auspices of an occupation. But again, you know, 107 out of the 108 pages focus on how American Muslims are some of the most educated, most economically empowered, sociopolitically and civically active people in American society, and I think that that is what should be focused on more.
And there's also one other number that was interesting and disconcerting, I think, for some people. Only 40% of all American Muslims believe Arab men carried out the 9/11 attacks. Is there a disconnect, a clear disconnect between Arab Americans and those who are not?
Well, unfortunately, I think that, you know, for some people, you know, to deal in conspiracy theories is something that is not on par with the Islamic self-reflective movement that we've seen, both in the American and in the global Muslim community. I mean, American Muslims have condemned terrorism in all of its forms, regardless of who does it, and I think that as we continue to live the American dream and show Muslims around the world that America is a welcoming place for Muslims and people of all faiths and races and socioeconomic statuses, yeah, I think that will help to dispel some of the myths and stereotypes.
And that leads me to my final question. By nearly 2 to 1, this poll found that people believe there is no conflict between being a devout Muslim and living in a modernized society, a la America. Even so, is it becoming more difficult for young Muslims who choose to live a devout lifestyle to do so in the United States?
Not at all. I mean, I consider myself a proud American and a proud Muslim. If you look at Muslims in America, we are doctors, lawyers. We're in Hollywood. We play in the NBA and the NFL. We are, you know, able to practice our faith freely in the United States and be contributing members of society. And I think that as the post-9/11 civil rights movement continues on, we'll show more and more the contributions of the American Muslim community.
All right. Arsalan Iftikhar, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Amy.